Hi, it's Pastor David again. I want to talk this week about Psalms, some of my favorite parts of the Bible. The Psalms are a collection. The book of Psalms is 150 Psalms, and each individual Psalm is a song or a poem showing many different aspects of God. Some of them were written by King David, some of them were written anonymously much earlier or later than King David. But each psalm gives us a different way to understand and appreciate, to pray to praise, and to convey our prayer to God. In my sermon last week on Sunday, we talked about Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd." And we talked about how using our five senses make the Psalms come alive, the poetry of green pastures and still waters, of dark valleys, comes alive when we imagine it with our senses. This week, as I prepare for Pentecost and confirmation, I've been thinking about Psalm 104, which talks about God's Spirit in creation. Psalm 104 gives us a very far different view of God. God is mysterious and powerful. God is over all creation, and rather than the Lord is my shepherd, which presents to us a God which is close to us and intimate and walks beside us. Hear the words from the 104th Psalm. It begins, "Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, you are very great. You make springs gush forth in the valleys. They flow between the hills, giving drink to every wild animal. The wild asses quench their thirst. By the streams the birds of the air have their habitation. They sing among the branches. From your lofty abode you water the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work. You cause the grass to grow for the cattle and plants for people to use, to bring forth food from the earth, and wine to gladden the human heart, oil to make the face shine, and bread to strengthen the human heart. The trees of the Lord are watered abundantly, the cedars of Lebanon that God planted. In them the birds build their nest. The stork has its home in the fir trees. The wild mountains are for the wild goats. The rocks are a refuge for the conies. You have made the moon to mark the seasons. The sun knows its time for setting. You made darkness, and it is night when all the animals of the forest come creeping out. The young lions roar for their prey, seeking their food from God. When the sun rises, they withdraw and lie down to their dens. People go out to work, and their labor until the evening." What a beautiful passage about creation and the view of God caring for all the earth, beginning with watering the whole earth so it may grow, controlling the waters so they are in streams and valleys and lakes and oceans, watering all the trees to give plant for food, caring for all the animals in different places. This God is a big, powerful God. This God is majestic, and we can only say in awe, "Bless the Lord, O my soul." The passage continues, all these animals look to you to give them food in due season. When you give it to them, they gather it up. When you open your hand, they are filled with good things. When you hide your face, they are dismayed. When you take away your breath, they die and return to the dust. When you send forth your spirit, they are created, and you renew the face of the ground. This view of God that creates all things and by God's Spirit sustains all things is a much more expansive view of God. It's not the God that walks beside us as a good shepherd, but it's a God that wrestles and sends the water into the places, into streams and valleys where it goes, who waters the plants and sustains the animals, who gives food to all things. By God's Spirit, the earth is sustained and the ground is renewed, and without God's Spirit, all things would die. This God is beyond our understanding or knowing, and all we can say is, "Bless the Lord, O my soul," to praise such a magnificent God that is beyond us. Our God is as close to us as a shepherd that walks with us and guides us as sheep, and as far above us as the timeless God who created all things and sustains all things through and beyond our lifetimes. As we wonder about the future, this God walks with us and holds all the future in God's hands. This God we can pray to and communicate with, and yet knows all things and is above and beyond all things. We trust in God. We place our trust in God because God is our creator and sustainer. We walk with God, and yet we know the future is in God's hands. This is comforting to me because I know that I don't need to know the future. I don't need to know all things about when this virus will end, what the new normal will be, what the solutions are. We work with God. We partner with God in being wise, in caring for creation, in caring for each other, in worshiping and praising and sharing good news. But we are only a part of things. Only God knows the whole of things. But God sustains us and blesses us, recreates us and the whole world each day, and renews us by God's Spirit. This, to me, is comforting as I face an uncertain and unknown future. Amen.